Hello, Paul from Click and Turn again. Today we're going to make ourselves a fruit bowl from a Sycamore blank that was about 14 inches from new. By the time I turned it round it was about 13. My tool of choice today is a 5/8 inch bowl gouge. It has a swept back grind on it. As you can see, freshly sharpened by the nice ribbon-like shavings. So today I decided to make a mortise for this to fit the 100mm power grip jaws that I have. I was aiming for a fairly closed bowl, meaning that the aperture at the top is narrower than the overall width of the bowl itself. So I was kind of aiming for a wheel shape. Well, incidentally, you get a voiceover today because whilst I was making this video I had a short in mind, and I was going to edit the hell out of it and make it a minute long, so I didn't say anything. But I have enough footage to make a nice video of this, and hopefully you'll enjoy the end product. I sanded it from 80 grit paper all the way up to 400 grit paper. As you can see, it's lovely and smooth now at the end of the process, and there's actually quite a lot of chatoyance going on there. It's very nice. I use a sanding sealer by Chestnut. I don't thin it down at all, I just use it straight out of the can. Give it a good liberal dose. Incidentally, I'm not sponsored by Chestnut, I just tend to use a lot of their products because they work for me. After sealing it, I'll use a 0000 wire wool just to denib it and take off any sort of peaks and troughs that the sanding sealer might have caused. And then directly after that I use True Grit sanding paste. True Grit paste. One thing I have noticed, you do tend to get through a lot of white tissue paper. I've mentioned that before in a previous video, I'm pretty sure of it. It's amazing keeping the white paper industry up and running. So after True Grit, we'll give it a little wash down with some isopropyl alcohol. Just takes off all that nastiness and leaves, it doesn't shine it per se, but it makes it a lot smoother. On this I chose to use Wax 22, once again a Chestnut product. It's easy to put on though in a British winter. It tends to get a bit cold out here in the Lathe cave, so I have to put it in front of the heater for a little while just to soften up. But once it goes on, leave it for 5 minutes at the most, I would say, and then buff it off, and as you can see the results are almost instantaneous. So having flipped it over and found the mortise to be absolutely bang on for a change, I put it back in and started turning away the material using once again my favoured 5/8 bowl gouge, because it does take quite a lot of material off. However, it's getting a bit short, which kind of works in my favour, because you'll see later on I reverse the direction of spin on the lathe and use it the opposite way, because I just can't get the tools in because my lathe's right up against the wall of the shed. Just taking away from the middle of the excess material. I tend to leave that material in the middle because it gives the wood extra strength when you're turning. And as you can see there, I've switched over to a Rectal Power 1/2 inch bowl gouge. And now this is the bit where I reversed the spin of the lathe, and I'm using my round nose scraper just to give it some finishing touches. You might notice that I've got the handle fairly high and the nose below the level of the tool rest. That's just basically it gives a nice cleaner cut. As before, the sanding starting off at 80 grit and then working my way up to 400 grit again. Here's a tip worthy of note: when you're turning the inside, it's worth remembering that when your walls are getting thin, the faster you go, the more flex there'll be in the walls of the bowl. So you end up with rough patches, and they can be a real pain in the backside to sand out. So don't be in a hurry. If you find yourself with rough bits on the inside of the bowl, just turn the speed down to 500 to 750 RPM and just turn it again. Make sure your gouge is nice and sharp, and most of those rough bits, the punky bits, will be gone. As you can see, I gave it a liberal dose of sanding sealer again. It's just amazing. The Sycamore, it's got a beautiful grain, and you can see the chatoyance as I turn it. It just flickers like a reflector on the back of a car. So with all that said and done, let's get rid of the nub. Doink! Give it a bit of a sand. I actually did spend a bit more time sanding it than you're seeing here. I had to edit the life out of it. And then give it my brand. So once I've branded it, I do tend to sand it back quite a lot. You'll see in the next clip that it doesn't look particularly sanded. I did sand it back a little bit more. And there we are. That's how it ended up. The fruit bowl from Sycamore Blank. Beauty. Thanks for watching. See you soon.